athletes and coaches don't have time. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure to give this speech today with you guys. It's a honor to be there in front of 400 people, and I hope I can give you a little bit a vision what we are doing still in my center, because a lot of athletes still are coming to train here when someone is injured. And I don't want to talk so much about myself, and better is you can check what we did and what we are still doing. And what I want to give today to you guys is more a clue what you can do, because I know especially coaches after injuries, they sometimes clueless because the people or the athletes are out and you have no clue what is going on. So for me, it's every time, and this was my philosophy in the National Sports Institute of Malaysia. When you're working with high performance athletes, and it doesn't matter who is it, it's a young guy or a top athlete like Pandaela Rinong, Olympic medalist in diving, when they are injured, we all treat him the same, and they are not outcast. Yeah, they are not working with us, and when we get the support of the coaches, is this much better than when the coach leaves them alone, because it's also every time a big mental issue for these athletes. They will ask every time, why me? Why I got injured? What I did wrong? Sometimes you will see later in some videos, it's not their fault. Yeah. And you have to accept it. Injuries are normal in high performance sports, and it's a fact. So, okay, what we're doing now, it's a little bit in the background about injuries. So everyone knows when you have a knee injury, there is a lot of people having this, so we're not going there. What for me is every time very tough that athletes, when they're going back to training, and now I'm talking as a coach, they are normally have only 75 to 80% of your conditioning level what you had before. And Schmidt, Bleicher, and Dubansky found it out in a very good research project in 2004. What we realize every time, most of the athletes after injuries, they are absolutely lack of confidence. They avoid situation, full contacts, man-to-man situation, direct physical, and important for us, maximum speed. So there was a very nice research project with the UEFA. They did over 27 clubs. They are working in the Champions League and 20 women's club in Sweden, plus 19 clubs in Sweden. And they check it out, how many actually ACL injuries we can get in these 10 years in a high level. So what you can see here, we had 139 ACL injuries, 125 ruptures, 14 was partial. It looks not high, but when you think about it, that means per year, it's quite high. And these are in Europe. So, interesting, we started now. When you see this here, from this 135, 119 playing in the same level. Still was 15 was still in the time, yeah, but 5 retired after injury. And now they need at least 8 months to recover 100%. So when someone tell you guys, it's getting faster, be very careful. Yeah, everyone have a biological limitation and we have to accept it. So what we want to do actually, we want to provide actually the best rehabilitation program for our athletes. And when you think high performance athletes, how long they train, means for me, they also can train very long because they are not sick, they are injured. There's only one small part of their body, yeah, have this injury. The rest of the body is very healthy. When you think about a knee injury, and we call it now the left knee, so the left knee is injured, but the rest of the body can do something. And when I hear that every time, a lot of people say, oh, rest, 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 this is not good. Athletes can't rest. This is not allowed. And this is a take-home message for you guys. Please, these people are not sick, they are injured. There is a big, big difference. Yeah. And what I preach every time, there is no passive treatment. We need very fast, active rehabilitation. Yeah. And of course, you can mix that. You have, ice therapy, and then you do manual therapy, and then you do a circuit training. It's not a big deal. But very important when it's coming to this, yeah, try to work so soon as possible with these athletes. For me, simple, 10 days without training means your fitness level is dropping to 35 to 40% already. And to get this back, you need time. And athletes and coaches don't have time, unfortunately. Maybe right now because we have COVID, but I don't think so. This is a good reason to, wait for the rehabilitation. Also, when you think about it, after a surgery, you have a lot of muscle atrophy when you don't do anything. But when you activate the muscle, you don't have atrophy. Okay. What we did also for you guys to see, when I was a little bit shocked when I took over the whole thing in Malaysia, and I did a small, call it research stuff, and I realized from these 5 events, but we took only as an example, and it was all knee injuries and most of them ACL reconstruction. Unfortunately, a lot of people got re-injured again. And another, for me, shocking number was that 23 people quit their training and their high performance sports. So in the end, when you see this, we was lucky, maybe 62% was not bad, but quit 38% and 65% got re-injured again. And this is not a good number. Absolutely not a good number. And then we started with a special program, we call it UGP, and it's called actually Unexpected Disturbance Program. You will listen to this a little bit later, and we are coming to this. So, when it's coming to UGP, a lot of people had asked me what it means. I say, actually, unexpected disturbance, like a perturbation. When you check the dictionaries worldwide, it's actually very nice when you see that. Perturbation is a small change in the movement, quality or behavior of something, especially unusual change. So that means you're not thinking about it. Yeah? What is a disturbance? And I like this very much, actually, the interruption of a settled and peaceful condition. Yeah? Unexpected is surprising or unforeseen. So what we find out actually when it's coming to high performance rehabilitation, and especially the last one, to return to sports, a lot of people can run, they can sprint, they can jump, but he can't play or perform. So what is the reason? It's actually very simple. When we train normally trampoline, we are trained actually over 0.3 seconds. What we need actually disturbance under 0.2 seconds, because the injury are caused under 0.2 seconds. That means this 0.1 second missing to reconnect with the brain. So you're afraid, scared, and you don't want to do it. So you have to actually activate your athletes to going back in a top condition. And I will show you now a video as a normal German driver with a lot of discipline. And then when I came to Malaysia, Dr. Sachu can sing a song about that. And you will see what it means actually per two patients and the traffic. And I guess India is maybe the same like Malaysia, maybe a little bit more. And enjoy the video. And this is me sitting in the car in Kuala Lumpur. Okay, so you realize, for me, it was not easy because in Germany we don't have this. It doesn't exist. So, but after 20 years experience in Malaysia, I know something will come. So I'm prepared already mentally. This unexpected disturbance will come, and this you can do when you do your training with your athletes. You can do the same stuff. So you can train your athletes. So when it's coming to rehab training, what it means actually, rehabilitation is actually a big, huge factor. So we have physiotherapy, we have mentally, we have sports therapy, hydrotherapy, nutrition, in biomechanics. And when people say, oh, I'm going to the physio and do my rehabilitation, this is only a small part. This is maybe 20%. And when it's coming to rehabilitation training, after phase 1 or 2, you don't need a physio anymore, because then you need more sports therapy, biomechanics, etc. So, and the physiotherapists doing a good job, and they are awesome, but have they the time to train with athletes 3 to 4 hours? Is this possible? Big question mark. I say no. And what you need is a good team to help you to bring your athlete back. And what we want to do, also what you can do as a coach, to bring them back to a normal level. So, importance of rehabilitation: you have to recover, you have to strengthen, and you have to rebuild, and you have to prevent. These are the most important things what we or you guys have to do. When you think about speed up the process of rehabilitation after sports injury, this doesn't mean you have to bring him so fast back as possible. No, you have to bring him back so good as possible, in the best way. And I'm coming back what I said already 5 minutes ago. Important is this: you have a biological limitation, and for you guys, important, everyone have a different adaptation. So some people, they have a very good wound healing, some people doesn't. Some people have a very good adaptation to the muscles, some people doesn't. And when someone say to me, oh, we have a protocol we follow in high performance, this is not right, because everyone is different. All athletes need a very good tailor-made program. And how we do it, I will show you in a simple way how that works. So I said already, we are coming from the passive stuff to the active. So we can do millions of things, and this is a treatment concept, what we do. And the best way to show you, because we're all coming from high performance, what I like to do, and you see this is a 400-meter lap, yeah? I do every time an assessment first. Then we do the training, then I monitor, I do my evaluation, and do my verification. So that means I have to test the athletes where I'm standing right now. And this is a fact, and we can't go away with this. And it looks like this. We evaluate, so we do our testing, then we do our planning, then I do my treatment and therapy, and then so how? The most important thing, what I said already, we have our testing. So when it's coming to this, what I can do, okay, this we don't need. This is what I'm looking for. This is for you guys quite important. There's a lot of W's inside. So what can we test? How can we test? When can we test? Then we need a lot of diagnostic and biomechanics. Why we have to test and where we have to test. And a lot of people ask me every time why we need so many things. It's very simple. I guess you all had already someone who had a knee injury. You every time ask yourself why these people are limping. And when you ask them why you're limping, most of the athletes say, no, I'm not limping. And you said, yes, you are limping. So then you do a biomechanical analysis, simple one. You put him on a treadmill. You put maybe a handphone, doesn't matter which one, in a slow motion, and you show him from front. Then you can see how he limps. And then you say, you know why? Number one, you're afraid and scared. That's the reason you lock up your knee joint. Secondly, you still have a valgus, so you're moving inside your knee. When people see that, seeing is believing. When you tell them, it doesn't work. So long you have parameters, everything black and white, nobody can touch you. And coming to the training later, this is the most important point. Do me a favor, do your datas. It's very important. So, also, when it's coming to testing, we have to relevant to injury. It doesn't work, you do something, but it's not relevant to the injury, and you can't do it anyway. So when someone have a knee injury, 3 weeks post-op, and I call it now ACL, so you can't do any endurance tests, this doesn't work. Yeah? So we have to every time think what we can do for these guys and how far we can go. Yeah? We are looking to this stuff, and what I'm coming for me is the first point. Repeat your test in regular intervals. That means when we have people in different kind of level, so long we have it everything black and white, it's good. And also think about your planning of training, your load of training. It's very simple. We are coming later to all the stuff. Yeah, there we see. So next one, that's not to get so bored for you guys. What I will do now, I show you 2 videos. The first video is for Lyrics You. She was the Olympic champion 2012. In 2016, in the semi-final in the Olympics, she ruptured her ACL. And this is a non-contact injury. The next video, what we will watching is a contact. how you can get it there. So what I say, non-contact can be 2 or 3 reasons. Number 1, the strain in their leg was not enough. And normally, when it's coming to badminton, overhead shots, landing on one leg because they are looking at the shuttle, they don't think about your leg and you're landing. There's a lot of load and force on your knee. Think about myself, maybe I will do this, I will jump up 78 kilos, and maybe I can jump up 20 centimeters, I'm landing with full speed, there's over 200 kilo working on my knee. When I can't handle 200 kilo, something will be happening to my knee as well. It's simple, this biomechanics. Yeah, so I can't say enjoy the video, but it's not so tough. So it was very tough because actually she was the highest favorite to win the gold medal again, and that was the reason she was out. So we do it one more time, where you can see it again. Okay, so you saw what was happened to her. Typical ACL, what we call it, yeah, injury, overhead shuttle, landing. She couldn't handle. She had a little bit valgus, and he was there. Yeah. So we have to accept it. It can be happen. So the next one is a full contact. So we do it another 2 more times. You see what is happened here. Full impact. You can't do anything. Yeah, you can't avoid. Okay. Good. So when you see all the things, so we was thinking in 2009, so we have to do something, and we created some special stuff, and Dr. Sachu was still involved this time. It was in 2009. We had 28 athletes, 7 male, 11 females, all top level athletes. They all had knee injuries. What we did with them, we did this UTP program over 3 or 4 years. And what we find out as well, unfortunately, some of these guys in our sports institute, in some physiotherapies, we didn't get any data. What was the muscle skirt? Which kind of training they did? So, and we said, oh my God, so how we can come forward here? Yeah. So one more time, you need data. And then we said, okay, let us start. And for me, when it's coming to high performance sports, we have to follow 5 phases. And we are going now step by step and very slowly to all these phases. And we are still thinking about the ACL reconstruction, what we can do. In the first phase, what we call it, you have to mobilize your knee joint again. What is your training's targets? It's your reduction of muscle atrophy. You have to try to improve your muscle strength, development coordination, improve your flexibility after your surgery. And what you can do as well, you want to go through some easy circuit training. What you can do, you can, there's a small mistake. What I say right now, it's not complete exercise. It's actually, yeah, what we call it, yeah, combination exercises. So you do a lot of combinations and stretching. You can do a lot of isometric training, but makes no harm as well, and a lot of strength training, circuit training, etc. And easy with high performance athletes, you can train at least 1 to 2 hours easily. Yeah, what we say again, these people are not sick, they are injured, they really can do something. Okay, so when you see this young boy here, he was exactly 3 weeks after surgery. We come, yeah, you can do already some muscle function test. Is there anything, is there any activation, yes or no? You can test his non-injured leg about some strength. Yeah, do isometric strength. You can also do a maybe single leg maximum strength test with 1 repetition. Yeah, that you know, okay, in his non-injured leg, he can push maybe 150 kilos. And this is the target where we have to go maybe in 6 months when he's no more injured. And I give you today an example what one of our athletes, he was the Asian champion in karate, what he did in his first phase of rehab. And I give you some advices as well. Rehab training doesn't mean you have to compete. This is not a competition. We want to do something. Yeah. And important for you guys, and you're all coaches, and I know you're very good, and I'm quite happy to work with these guys. The body needs adaptation. And I have every time a big issue with my guys when I say, okay, what you're doing? Oh, he's in phase 1. We are doing a single leg race, 10 repetition, 3 sets for 4 weeks. And I say, what do you want to achieve actually with 10 repetition, 3 sets? When you do every day the same thing. Training, you say, no, this is not training. Where's your variation? Where's your adaptation? Which kind of load you're doing? When you do every time the same, what we want to do actually, we want to destroy the cells, the old ones and the injured ones. And we want to build up new ones. So when I do every time the same, there is no more adaptation to our muscles. And that is the reason why I have a muscle atrophy, because most of the time we are doing the same. And this is very simple. So we have to think about how overcome this issue. I don't want to call it problem. I call it the issue. Yeah? Think about it. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen. Also, for me, the training have to do in his injured part without pain. You can do a lot in phase 1. Yeah, and there is no doubt. You see here, Asisul Abang, world champion in carrying. And think about him, what he's doing. It's 4 weeks after surgery, and he can stand already and do balance exercises. It's simple. Yeah? Good. And this is my program, what I did with Lim Yok Wei, Asian champion in karate. So he did on Monday morning 30 minutes physio, and then he did a little bit on the scooter, some stretching, coordination exercise, stabilization exercise. We have a very nice cable curriculum, and it was in the morning training. So you realize already in the morning, he's there for 3 hours. In the afternoon, we did the endurance session, 60 minutes on the bike, relaxed and easy, a small, yeah, not the full range of motion, only 80 degrees, enough. We did some simple throws in the sitting position, stretching eyes. So in the end, you can see this is 4 hours training plus physio. Yes? In the afternoon on Tuesday, he did his strength program, and you see this is a typical strength endurance program. A lot of repetition, low load, short rest. And this whole program going until Saturday morning, Sunday was off. Unfortunately, his wound healing was not so perfect. That was the reason we couldn't go to the water. Yeah, but in the end, I was quite happy. So in phase 2, what is coming, but this is only a guideline, 4 to 6 weeks later, what is our targets? We want to improve the endurance, strength endurance, coordinative abilities, and mobility as well. And you see now the training form is much higher. Motion skills, you go to aqua training, you go to the water, etc. And we also start in phase 2 with the isokinetic training. And I'm very honest to you guys, isokinetic training is very good for rehabilitation, especially in phase 2 and 3, because you can train very well a single muscle. But also isokinetic is not the key to the world. Simple answer, why? Tell me which kind of movement in sports have the same resistance and the same speed. No one. Not even one exercise. Not even one event have the same speed and the same resistance. It's impossible. You think about, you kick the ball 10 times, it's every time the same different kind of speed and different time of force. But for training and testing matters, isokinetic is very good. There's no doubts about it. And please think about it, because a lot of people say, oh, you do isokinetic, you're getting better, and this is a good test module. Test module, yes, but you only think you only can do one muscle, single muscle. You never have all the muscle change involved. So here is the program for Lim Yok Wei. So when you're coming to he already started jogging on the soft mat. That was 8 weeks after post-op. So it's already coordination, training, endurance, etc. He's going to the water, and also his load was much higher than before. And you see him, what he is doing on the SRT machine. Sorry. And the SRT machine is only the short form. SRT means thoracic resonance therapy. So this machine doing the same stuff that we was talking before. They give impulses totally random to the body. And this is an oscillation and vibration plus thoracic. Thoracic means noise. Think about, you're very sensitive. Think about you're home, you go to bed with your partner and he or she starts snoring. So you are very disrupted and you're very unhappy. And this is what we are doing with this kind of training as well. So we want every time to activate our muscles. And you see here, Lim Yok Wei, 10 weeks after, what he's doing on this machine. So what you can see, he was very stable on this machine already, and he can kick. So not jumping yet, it's much too early, but we was very happy because his rehab process went very well. And then, of course, Muscular, we want to build up the muscles that you get fit for our next performance. And then you already think about striding, running, yeah, coordination runs left and right, a lot of hypertrophy training, and normal for me, 2 sessions per day. And this is his program. So Monday morning was off, then aqua jogging, yeah, was over 20 laps, yeah. And then you see 2 laps warming up, and then he did a lot of speed in the water still, yeah. And the training was much higher, yeah. So you see on Wednesday morning, we start already the drills, but we call it over the mini hurdles, a lot of coordination stuff, a lot of jumps, yeah, but he was fit. So when you see the whole program coming back to 5 hours easy training a day, so that you're preparing much better for anything what's coming up. So, and you see here, this young lady, world champion in diving, full recovered already, 14 weeks post-op, and she is doing some training with we call it a biofeedback training, that because we still want her not to bend over 90 degrees, so she have to follow, and you can see the small curves there, to be every time in the right range of motion. And of course, phase 4, sport-specific training. So it's actually, but I call it most of the time with the coaches already. Yeah. What is our target? Mental fitness. Big issue for all athletes because they are scared. And you are the guys to have to help them to come back. Yeah. Reintegration to the team. For me, big issue because sometimes, what I said already, they feel like outcasts, they are sitting outside. So this is all your stuff, what you have to do. And this was the program that we did with him. You see, we are in the maximum training, pyramid training for him. He did a lot of runs. Yeah, when you think about karate, need a lot of condition. So 20 times 100 meters. I have issues to do this, but can. And in the end, we can say Lim Hyuk Wei won the Asian champion again in 2012. So he was very happy. And that was his whole program what we had. And then we have as well the preventive training, what we are doing normally after he integrated full to the team, full training. And then we said we want to prevent this injury again, and we do 2 to 3 times a special training. And for these athletes, what you need, it's a lot sometimes self-motivation, because this is running away. Yeah. So, and then you see what we did with him, team training, team training, and only, we did a lot of jumps with him, what he need. And yeah, we was quite happy. End of May, we can say, thank you very much. After 7 months, 7.5 months with us. And what is every time good when you see his performance in leg press. And the good one, we have this over a long period of his time with us. This is not only good to see for us, it's also a good motivation for your athletes. Yeah. Think about also when you do the leg press coming, you only can do it over 90 degrees because we have a limitation. Everything what is going over 90 degrees, there's a lot of stress on your meniscus, what we don't want. Yeah. So I give you also a small video that's not too tiring for you and too much theoretical stuff. A basketball player, and with him, he was following this special program, this UTP program, over 7 months, and you can see which kind of prevention training I did with this man. You can see he's shooting, and every time I touch him, that he have to find his balance. And especially for basketball players, yeah, it's very important to get this back, because basketball is full contact sports. They call it is not a contact sports, but for me, one more time, for me, basketball is full contact. Yeah, and you can see, yeah, every time from behind, yeah, someone like me is there and touch him, yeah, and that's what we call it. It's unexpected, and when you do this kind of exercise, you can think about yourself what you want to do with your athletes. It is exactly under 0.2 seconds the disturbance. So after a while, these people know exactly someone is there, will disturb me. I'm prepared for this. I'm ready. Yeah. Don't need. Okay. So when we come into our important factors of optimal rehabilitation, and this is quite for you guys that you can see. For me, it's excellent. The healing of the wound must be without any complications. So you can't train when there may be a pause or something like that. You can't. Physiotherapy starts immediately after the surgery. So this is important that people get activated. Yeah. Of course, nutrition, supplements have to be there. Also to run the 5 phases of rehabilitation. Try to do it without any mistakes. Don't think about we are all superheroes. We are not. And there is, I say it again, we have biological limitation. We can't overcome this. Yeah. Okay. And then after we did our statistics, yeah, with our injuries, so we can realize we had 24 athletes. They completed the program. Continuing sport was 20. 4 quit. Unfortunately, what we realized it, yeah, what was happened, 2 was forced and the rest was, but the re-injury was very low. We had only 1%. And I guess this is quite good and we can be very proud of that. And, but I want to say from the 4 people, they quit. 2 was forced to quit from the national team. They said, oh, you're too old and this doesn't work anymore. So in the end, that was for them, they have to say goodbye. And that's it. And my conclusion, and that's what you can take home, for you to know rehabilitation training is totally different from a normal training. It takes work every time to recover. Yeah. And we have our biological limitation. So I hope that was a small, short introduction what we are doing about rehab. And yeah, you can have me now for all the questions, Ange. And first of all, I say danke, nandri, shukram, etc., etc. Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure. And I'm now here and waiting for your questions. Thank you. Saju, you can start.
Thank you, Joop. It was a very good presentation. And I think, people need to understand what is the difference between rehabilitation part, early rehabilitation and athletic rehabilitation. So I think Joop has given insight into this athletic rehabilitation with special emphasis on UDP.
Yes.
Yeah. That is one of the things which has been recently looked into. And probably if re-injury should not occur, then probably this kind of training has to be emphasized upon. So now I open the floor for questions. And if you have any questions, please do put them on the chat box.
Oh, Saju, also, for you guys, I still have some videos when you want to see when some people say, oh, not clue yet about this UTP and which kind of unexpected disturbance. So, but I guess we saw something. I give you 2 explanation. Then the people can see as well how that works, and you can see me there. in our ISN a long time ago. We are waiting. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can share the screen and once again present that.
Wait.
Yeah,
We are doing this now. And then you can see.
So meanwhile, questions can be put up.
Yes. So you can see, yeah, someone is touching him from behind. He's standing on one leg. Yeah, and he's a football player, also ACL reconstruction, relaxed and easy. So we every time was thinking what we can do with these people. And it's not easy. You can, yeah, you realize that. And he is quite stable, both sides, so we are quite happy. Or we was happy. Okay, Sachu, come.
Okay. Hold on.
Okay.
There is one question from Padmakar Rao. During preparative training, is it advised to give isometric exercise to maintain the muscle mass? Pre-operative.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Weightlifting. Okay. So I hope, of course, isometric you can do anytime. Isometric means there is no, yeah, any difference in the muscle because you only, yeah, you contract. Yeah. So origin, yeah, it's all the same. You can start way early with isometric exercise. It's not a big deal. Yeah. Except you have a muscle injury, yeah, and you did operation there, I guess then you have to be very careful. But when it's coming to knee injuries, you can do it quite fast. Okay? The next day is not a big deal. You can start immediately and you can avoid also muscle atrophy. But muscle atrophy is coming anyway because of the inactivity. Yeah. So you can't do 3,000 isometric exercise, makes no sense anyway. Yeah. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So many.
Most of the things are actually not questions. It's all thanking you for the session.
Oh, okay. You're so welcome. I was, yeah, thank you very much for the invitation.
Okay, there is one question from PC Pandian. He's a volleyball coach. When you say the athlete is safe, do you look at the previous range of motion?
Safe? Yes, of course. I mean, think about especially, normally what we say, coming to normal range of motion must be 180 degrees. I mean, you have to touch your buttocks. So when you can't do this, there's something wrong. We are high performance sports. So when you can't, which kind of complication can be happen? I mean, there's maybe a swelling in the knee, etc., etc. But you have to check it out. What is it? Why he can't? Maybe sometimes because you did too much training, and then his iliopsoas and the quadriceps are too strong, and this can be the reason. Suddenly he can't bend his knee 100% anymore. So you have to think twice. Flexibility, coordination, and strength have to be together.
In grade 3 meniscus tear, is there any scope of recovery to its full form without surgery?
Oh, you have a grade 3 meniscus tear. I mean, when you're doing high performance sports, I will prefer that this guy is going for surgery because you have to think every movement where we call it doing turnings. And I'm not sure, I call it now, maybe it's a posterior, yeah, tear. So you do any left turns or right turns, you will feel this, and this is painful in high performance, yeah. And when you have a tear, a small one, then you at least have to, I call it, to rest 6 to 8 weeks to heal. And I'm sure you don't have the time to do this. Yeah. So surgery is a better option. He can shave it, he can stitch it, and Actually, the best is the stitch, because for me, also when he did 6 weeks, and I'm sure he did training, there was something happened. And I'm sure he still have pain when he do his, call it bending over 90 degrees. I'm not so sure because it's far away, and I'm not a big fan from what we call it far away diagnostic. But the first thing crossing my mind, why he didn't do a surgery.
Okay. Right. Another question. What is the rest period you suggest after any sports injury before starting a rehab program? This is by Padmakar Rao.
One more time, I couldn't get it. There was some under breaks. Where is it?
Okay. This is a question by Padmakar Rao. What is the rest period you suggest after any sports injury before starting a rehab program? He is asking for rest period.
Maybe I can find this here. Oh, the rest period. Oh, okay. Very simple. Which kind, number one, for me, it's very simple, which kind of sports injury you have. I mean, when you twisted your ankle, we call it as an example, and you twist it, you do your eyes and then you sleep and you hope you can sleep because it's not so serious. You have a small swelling. Actually, 2 days later, you can start with your training. It's not a big issue. It's not a big issue. So, but training means rehab training, because you think about, you have a swelling, so you need ice therapy, you need a mobilization for your joint, etc., etc. And when it's, because I know rest, what means rest? Rest for your joint or rest for the whole body? Rest for the whole body is wrong. For your joint, maybe. Yeah, because our athletes are very smart. When they go to the doctor and the doctor says rest for 2 weeks, that means for them do nothing for 2 weeks, but this is wrong. Rest means maybe for this joint, don't do any load, but it doesn't mean that the rest of the body can't train. That's wrong. Okay.
Yeah, so here there's another question. What is the importance of psychological support for an athlete to compete back at elite level?
Okay. Yes. Very simple answer. Yes, it's important, but also you have to check how strong, mental strong are your athletes. Some people don't need. And there is an old phrase, they say it every time: when I'm physical fit, I'm mental fit. I can do a lot of things. Yeah. So, but when you don't have this, you need someone to bring you back. And I guess a mental coach is quite good for you to help you to bring back your confidence. And you can start actually immediately after surgery to work with these guys. They are good guys and you know what you're talking about. And when you have them, use them. Yeah, bring them inside the team. Yeah, and make your athlete strong.
So someone has asked a question about aquatherapy. So like aqua jog and all. Could you just highlight on that?
Yes. Okay. What I said, when our athletes, the wound healing is completed, so there is no more. Yeah, it's totally, the scar is closed. Try to put him as soon as possible into water, because it's very simple. The water have a lot of buoyancy. That means my body weight, I call it now, is 80 kilos. In the water, it's maybe only 35 to 40 kilos. So half of my body weight, doesn't exist in the water. That means there is no stress on your joints, on your muscles, and on your bones. So important, and you can train perfectly in the water. You can do aqua jogging, you can do endurance training, you can do speed training, you can do everything. So, guys, you have a swimming pool and your athlete's there. I hope he can swim, and then put him in. Yeah. We had a lot of guys with, he couldn't swim, so we had a good swimming belt, and then you go ahead. Yeah. But you're totally right, and I'm very happy. yes, use aqua therapy. It's very important.
Okay, there's one last question. This is
Okay.
by Supradeep Mukherjee. Which type of training is more better for injury recovery? Eccentric or concentric?
Make a good mix from both. Simple, good adaptation. You can't only focus on one. Do both. And you can do in blocks that you said, okay, this 2 weeks I do the eccentrics, then I have a week rest, and then I do the concentric. It's not a big deal. You can do it, but do adaptation. Do a lot of variation in training. What is the very important stuff? Yeah. You can give my email. Yeah. Okay. That you?
Yeah. All right. Thank you, York, for the wonderful session. It was
Yes.
very kind of you that
What
you.
I can do now as well, we give you one last slide when anyone need any help, and I will send out my email.
Okay.
And
Sure.
Kevin will do this. In the end, I said already, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. And anything the next time, yeah,
Yeah.
you can come back to me.
Yeah. Sure.
Yes, and then we can do something again. Okay.
All right. Thanks, York, once again.
Okay. There's my email. More. Oh, yes. Thank you very much, and I say goodbye.